Greetings and welcome back to another episode of the Corrupt Crew Chronicles. I wanted to come back on here because I'm laughing. This is funny. This is so funny. When I was talking with Brother Jesse yesterday, he was telling me that she she's a female in that circus cult, and she's a psychiatrist. And now, for you old timers, this is for the old timers because this particular male was in there. He came in there when we were at the bowling alley, and I'll give a description and as best as I can. But he came in there when we were at the bowling alley. He was baptized now, member and everything. And the one female who's in there who used to live with me, the second female who lived with me, not the first one that I took care of, but the second one who was working. Okay, she worked the whole time. She actually lived with me. She's now married because that circus cult leader, Shitty One, finally went ahead and put her and the other male together finally, as far as for marrying them, and they got a little boy. She liked him. She liked the male that I'm talking about. And the incident that happened, and they were talking, whatever, but she liked him way more than he liked her. And the incident I'm going to talk about, laughing, to really solidify the description of the male, is that the female I just talked about, who used to live with me, the second female now, who used to live with me, he actually was talking with another female, and she was running after the car out in the parking lot. Y'all know what I'm talking about. It's funny. I cannot help it. I can't help it because we did laugh about that. I'm just gonna go ahead. Now that's something that I did laugh about. So because it was just like, because I'm gonna tell you, some folks were telling this female that no, he really doesn't like you like that. Like you can tell, they were trying to put it, gently to her, like, he's just not into you, basically. And she was not, getting the hint, wasn't getting the clue. And so he went off with another female. Well, anyhow, he's back in there. He went back in there. Okay, so that male is back in there in that circus cult. So that, he came back years, after I was going out of there. And, this come from Brother Jesse. Well, anyhow, the female psychiatrist now, she's, I guess her and that male are, I don't know if they're talking because they're because he's single, she's single, but anyhow, being romantic, what, or whatever, but she's Spanish. Now, what I'm laughing about is she's a psychiatrist. Why is she in there? Like, when the brother told me that, I said, wait a minute. I said, you mean she's a psychiatrist? I said, hold on, wait a minute. I said, and she hasn't diagnosed him, talking about that search code leader, Shitty One? Well, he told me, Brother Jesse told me that the first time that she ever seen him, circus cult leader, Shitty One, spaz out, so to speak, or would go off, have a temper tantrum, because that's exactly what he has, is, I guess it was during one of those funky feasts. And of course, those come, the outer towners come in, and there was a male who he lives up north. and he's been in there for a long time, and he's still in there, and he does like the videography, taking pictures, but like the videography. And I know that he had his own business. I don't know if he still does, but I think he does. But like he came in and like when we were over there, we were in the first building on Glenwood Road, actually, and he's from up north, state up north, and he, comes down, and he shows up every funky feast, he's there, and he really doesn't come any other time, but he's married, but his wife is not in the circus cult. But anyhow, so he was, Brother Jesse told me that he was there. Brother Jesse was there. They was out there in the dining hall, and this particular male was there too. And then this female who is a psychiatrist in there. And so, they were in there, had straightened up, some of the males and females in there had straightened up, the tables, because y'all know in the dining hall in that raggedy ass dump of a building that they sitting in now, it's like about four rows of the, you have 4 tables per row in there, if I remember correctly. 3 or 4 of them long, tables that you would have like outside, like if you have like some type of function outside or whatever, those long, plastic, sturdy, tables. But anyhow, and they had the rows crooked, something to him, to circus cult leader. Shitty one, and said that he started yelling, why can't you all do this right? Blah, 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 y'all know how he gets, because he's crazy like that. I mean, it's one thing having OCD, but he takes it to a whole nother level because he got control issues because he's a narcissist. Well, Brother Jesse said that female who's a psychiatrist, her eyes got so big, and said the male who is from up north said, well, that's just, he just gets like that, when things is not, is not straight and right, when things not right. I just go back to, why is she in there? Like, I'm like, is she a quack doctor? Because a psychiatrist, they've gone to medical school. Okay, they have a medical degree in psychiatry. They had, the psychologists, they are a doctor too. They have a doctorate of psychology. They don't go to medical school to become a psychologist, but they have a doctorate of psychology, which, with the counseling and stuff. But I'm like, what is she doing in there? I just, it just really just came to my mind, like, what is going on? Like, she's in there. I mean, she sees this behavior of him. I mean, come on now, y'all. I mean, I don't know her, and that's not, me. I'm just looking at it from the standpoint of, I've been in the medical field 24 years, and actually over 24 years, and I, actually worked in a chronic psychiatric hospital. Yeah, it's been years and years ago, but yeah, I worked in a chronic psychiatric hospital, and so I can even pick up on different, thing. Of course, I didn't have a deep knowledge, but she's a psychiatrist. Like that one, I don't know. I don't know what that one. That one was just over my head. Like, what is really going on? But I'm like, well, maybe she liked the male who came back in there that much. But I'm like, he can't have all his screws not all the way tightened. And Brother Jesse said it. He said he got mental issues. Talking about that man who came back in there. And yeah, anybody who come back in there after leaving, y'all know that he left out. Talking about that male and came back years and years ago. I already went through that. The ones who's coming back in there. I already went through that. They have no ambition, no goals, no aspirations, and they got to be codependent on their circus cult leader. They can't get out here and make it on their own. There is something wrong with that. And, talking with Brother Jesse just brought up a lot of some other things, just like he was saying how him talking with some others who had never been in there, I get, and him just sharing his experience, and they were saying it was trauma bonded, and yes. And I said that when I didn't actually use those words at that time, but years ago, I remember talking with Sister Keita, and this was after we got on up out of there. And I was just like, folks really, and it was after I went through my healing of, being, healing period of everything I experienced in there. And I told, Sister Keita, I said, that all of us were in there because we had something going on within us. I said, and you have to heal that part of yourself. And I knew with me what it was, because of course going through a healing journey, and like I said, everybody has their own time period of how long it's going to take them to heal, even if they're going to heal. Because first of all, you have to recognize that there's a problem going on, and then pinpoint it, and okay, this is how I'm going to take care of this, and then go on and go through the healing process, and then also how the way to heal, because everybody heals differently as well, what it takes, how what it takes for the healing process to actually be complete. And I'm just like, and I'm just glad to be out of there. And I'm glad for my fellow brothers and sisters who are no longer in there as well. And, it's just, I hope that all of us who out here, that I hope none of my fellow brothers and sisters are thinking about going back in there. I don't care what goes on in your life. I don't care. It cannot be as bad as sitting in that circus cult under that shitty one, that circus cult leader, who the only thing he's in there for is filthy lucre, is for personal gain. And I'm going to tell you, I'm going to get on that as well. It won't be on this video, but there's a lot of things that came to mind, though. When I was talking, when Brother Jesse and we were talking, just the things that when I say I'm talking about that circus cult leader. He's disqualified as being an overseer in a religious organization. And whether that's a bishop, an elder, they're all the same, the qualifications. He's a brawler. Not supposed to be a brawler when you sit here and you're talking about an elder or a bishop. It says that. It says that in there. 1 Timothy chapter 3, and then also in Titus. The book of Titus, it talks about that. He put his hands on that man who was sitting in his truck, came there working for them. It's on my Facebook page. And I thank Brother Jesse so much because he sent that out. He's on Telegram, and I talked about this. He's got the Telegram app, and he already went through that or whatever with that search code leader, had them downloading and everything. And that's how they communicate. It's like a text app thing. And he said everything he's putting out, that the track man, Usher, that circus code leader had to sit down, sees, and there's a lot of other ones who see it too. And he said, yeah, he said, I put that, he said, I sent that out. He was like, I covered up your name, on your Facebook. I said, well, you can put my name out there. I said, that's fine, and I mean, I appreciate him for doing that, because he, of course, didn't know, how, and I know that he was, meaning to be respectful, and I appreciate that. But like I told brother, you can put my name on out there. Everything I did is first and last name. But Sister Keita went to that particular police department, and she got that police report and sent it to me from back in 2018. That circus cult leader, out of his mouth, it's in the report, the narrative of the police officer who did the narrative, who they have to type it up. He told the police officer who came to the scene that he put his hands on that man. That circus cult leader said that he put his hands on that man and grabbed him out of his truck. Just because that man was, he heard, the circus cult leader, Shitty One, heard that man was talking poorly about him. And he grabbed him out of his truck. That man showed up to do his job. He was trying to get a tool because I guess he was doing like maintenance work, or either, because they have that mechanic, that shop or whatever. And, I don't know if they also, do like towing, or I don't know. But he came to get a tool. And he had spoke with the whore wife, Shitty, too, letting her know that, yeah, he was coming or whatever. And yeah, I mean, and I'm like, okay, there was a whole nother way that you could have handled that instead of doing that. Like, he could have just went on and, told the man to get off his property, or either, if it was that bad, stay in there and lock the door and call the police for them to come, and then tell them, I don't want him on my property, and terminate him. Because, I mean, he was working for them. He was, employed by them. Yeah. I mean, I'm just, it just behooves me how, folks don't see that. I mean, being sober-minded. He's not sober-minded. How you be sober-minded and he's smoking CBD in there? Talking about that circus code leader in his office with the door shut and smoke coming out of it. How you sober-minded, being under the influence? Yeah, I don't care the THC, what they call it, to make it to where it's, what they want to say, marijuana. It doesn't matter. He's still under the influence. It's so much. Like I said, I can just go on and on, just things that just come to my mind. And, and like, Brother Jesse was saying, the sowing of discord amongst the brethren, being divisive. I called it that, like on one of the first videos I made. And yeah, he's very much so a sower of discord among the brethren, being divisive. Very much. And when it says, that's between putting brothers and sisters against each other, brothers against other brothers, sisters against other sisters. Yeah, all that. I mean, I'm just like, and I'm not making these videos, I make these videos, like I said, under the directive of divine spirit and my ancestors. That's when I get on, click on the camera. I don't just, be like, oh, I'm going to make a video on my own. No. I don't. And I'm not making these videos for them males and females in there. No, I'm not. I already know they whatever. It just have to be something, just I don't know, to have them come on from out of there. That was just like with me. Like I said, I had, was already like not feeling it back in 2014, and I had to get kicked out, in 2016 to get out of there. So I, it's a lot, but I've been also thinking about with them having them weapons in there, and this has been coming to mind, and I hope that it does not happen. But I think about somebody getting hurt in there. And I'm being serious. Like that's been heavy on my mind. Like, yeah, here lately. Like, because, you never know, people get into the moods and, or, somebody say something and they snap, it's just, or either an accident would car accident, what I mean, it can drop and, yeah. Yeah. And I just hope that does not happen. But I'm just going to say this. If that just unfortunate event, because happened, it happens in there, the law enforcement already know that they have weapons in there. And yeah, it is lawful for them to have them in there. In that religious building. Yeah. But that will be just devastating. I mean, it's right up there with what happened to that little boy that got sexually violated in there by the teenage boy. And I would just be like, my goodness, yeah. So I just, like I said, I'm just glad I'm no longer in there, and I'm glad for my fellow brothers and sisters who's no longer in there too. And like I said, I'm gonna keep on it though, on this mission assignment that being a predator on that circus code leader, and I mean that, and I'm satisfied thus far because things was rolling. Like I said, opening up. I know what's coming. I know what's coming. Sure do. I know what's coming. But I'm going to go ahead and end this video here. I'll be back with another video. But until that time, I'm signing out.